Hello and welcome to One Man's Opinion. Today I am reviewing Music Theater of Connecticut's production of Moon Over Buffalo, written by Ken Ludwig, directed by Clint Hromsco, running through February 23rd at Music Theater of Connecticut at 509 Westport Avenue in Norwalk, Connecticut. Take center stage as a supporter of this show by becoming a patron over on my Patreon page, where you can, for as little as $1 a month, support my work here, as well as my classic cinema podcast, Yesterday's Matinee, where you get early access to the latest episode, which is currently the 1929 short film Un Chien Andalou. Come check it out and see some of the other little goodies hidden there. Thank you to my current patrons, especially my Neo and Hamilton tier patrons, and welcome to the new ones. A link will be in the description. Moon Over Buffalo is a zany little farce set in a repertory theater in Buffalo, New York in 1953. George and Charlotte Hay, played by Rod Brogan and Anna Holbrook, are aging actors who had their relative moments in the spotlight, but never quite made it to the full grandeur of celebrity that they had hoped for, because they aren't particularly good actors. They are currently on a touring production of Cyrano de Bergerac and Private Lives across the Midwest, and now they're up in Buffalo. George and Charlotte, though married, don't particularly get along, not in the least due to philandering on both their parts. George is having an affair with the cast member Eileen, played by Olivia Fenton, who announces that she is pregnant with his child, and Charlotte is ready to run off with their lawyer Richard, played by Jim Schilling. Their daughter Rosalind, played by Allie Seibold, has come to Buffalo to tell her parents that she is getting married to the mild-mannered Howard, played by Ted Gibson, something that would disappoint them both, as well as their company manager Paul, played by Matt Mancuso. Paul happens to be Rosalind's ex and still holds a torch for her. Rounding out the cast is Charlotte's nearly deaf mother Ethel, played by Joanne Parady. The pregnancy and Rosalind's arrival is all ill-timed news, as George and Charlotte are informed that Frank Capra, who is considering casting George and Charlotte for a film, is coming to see the matinee of their next show. Well, as with all screwball comedies, chaos ensues as people try to hide secrets, mistaken identities occur, and drunken accidents galore plague the characters. It's not on the grand scale of Say Noises Off, but Moon Over Buffalo is still a hysterical show when the actors and directors are on point with balancing each character's degree of silliness. With MTC's production, it mostly succeeds. The highlight of the show is Rod Brogan, whose timing is impeccable as George, especially the second act, where his physicality and spontaneous eruptions of drunken emotion are perfectly timed. Anna Holbrook likewise is great, as her actions of melodramatic flair evoke guffaws from the audience. The direction of the supporting characters is a bit uneven, though. George and Charlotte are the larger-than-life characters and should be played broad, and they are. The other characters need to be tempered a bit. I think Allie Seibold and Joanne Parady manage it best. Parady's Ethel is really funny, but it's not big funny. It's balanced. It makes no sense for a character like Ethel, who moves at her own pace, to be broad like George and Charlotte are. She's not an actor. They are. They are expected to have bigger and broader personalities, and that's what makes it funny. Ethel's humor is in her dialogue. Rosalind is a character who's not of this community, even though she is related to it. She's the straight man of the show, and Seibold never pushes to draw attention from the zanier moments by the other characters. The issue comes more with the direction and/or choices by Mancuso and Gibson as Paul and Howard. Gibson's Howard is funny, but is a little forced at times. His awkwardness works, but occasionally needs a little reeling in. Mancuso's Paul, though, felt way too over the top at times. It seemed like Mancuso was attempting to match Brogan and Holbrook when the character didn't need to be that severe. A little less would have gone a long way. April M. Bartlett's scenic and prop design is great. I particularly like one sight gag involving a dressing room door near the end, which I won't mention as to spoil it. And I don't know if it was intentional or not, but there is a wall sconce light on the far stage right side that went out and back on whenever a door was slammed. I think it was a happy accident, but I noticed it and I thought, if that's intentional, brilliant. If not, don't fix it. It works. Diane Vanderkroef has designed some fantastic costumes. I particularly love the gowns that Holbrook and Seibold wear for the Private Lives sequence in Act 2. It really makes me want to see MTC do a production of Private Lives just based on the costumes alone. The Cyrano outfit for Brogan is outrageous, and there is a patent uniform that I think is great that comes into play at the end of the show. Moon Over Buffalo is an exceptional farce. The situations are absurd and fantastical, and for the most part, MCC pulls it off. There are some choices that push the humor a bit too hard and the jokes end up falling flat, but Rod Brogan along with Anna Holbrook really make the play shine. It's running for one more week in Norwalk. Go and see it and have a good time. But I am only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you'd like to see Moon Over Buffalo, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get tickets. Also in the description are links to my Patreon and Spotify pages and my social media pages where you can follow me and support my work. You can also support me by liking and sharing this video, subscribing to the channel, and clicking on the notification bell to be alerted to future reviews. My next review will be Irish Repertory Theatre's production of Beckett Briefs. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.